Good morning. This is your 10 a.m. daily weather briefing. Seeing nice conditions out there with temperatures currently climbing into the mid 50s with a light onshore breeze. Overall, should see nice conditions as we move through today with some fairly mild temperatures, light onshore winds, and plenty of sun. Next chance of precip will move into the area as we get later into the afternoon and evening time frame tomorrow as a cold front pushes through the area, and then we'll see a return of dry conditions as we move into the weekend. We'll take a look at the current surface analysis. High pressure in control over the local area that's keeping those winds on the lighter side, as well as conditions nice and dry. No precipitation or lightning expected today. We'll see this area of low pressure well off to the west. It's going to pretty much track along this stationary boundary as we move over the next 24 to 48 hours, and it's going to bring this trailing cold front through our region again late tomorrow, and it's going to bring that chance of showers, maybe even a possible thunderstorm with that activity. Additionally, we'll see some windy conditions ahead and behind that front as it pushes through the region. If we look at the upper level winds from this morning, sounding fairly weak winds through the column this morning, some northeasterly winds in the lower levels becoming more northwesterly as we get in the mid and upper levels. Peak wind today is 25 knots at 25,000 feet, and the freezing level this morning was at 11,000 feet. If we look at the current visible satellite, we can see those clear skies across the area, just a few high clouds passing through the area. Off to the west, we do have some additional high clouds that will be building in as we move through today, later in the day today, ahead of that next system as it moves through the area. We'll take a look at the short-term high-resolution model, see how that system plays out as it moves through. Again, dry conditions and mostly sunny to partly cloudy as we move through the day today. We see those high clouds on the increase as we get into the afternoon and continuing into the evening time frame. As we move past the midnight time, some of that onshore breeze will bring in that low-level moisture and possibly a low cloud deck off the ocean here. So possibly seeing some reduced visibilities and ceilings possible early on Thursday. And as we get into the start of the day on Thursday, still seeing mostly cloudy conditions with mainly high clouds around. We'll see another mild day. We'll start to see that breeze picking up out of the south as well, becoming breezy. So a good chance of seeing a wind advisory as we move later in the day on Thursday. But again, should see mild conditions unless we see that low cloud deck stick around during the daytime hours. As we move into the late afternoon and more so into the evening, as you can see, this line of showers starts to approach the area. The HER model here a little slower than some of the other models. Earliest timing of these showers would be around 1700 local time frame, possibly arriving a little bit later. And as you can see, some pockets of heavier rain being simulated here, and a slight chance of even an embedded thunderstorm with this activity as it pushes through. And should see most of that rain coming to an end around 2 or 3 in the morning, Friday morning. And behind that, we'll see winds shifting out of the northwest and really ramping up with potential gusts up to 40 miles per hour as we move through the early morning hours of Friday and continuing through the day on Fridays. We start to see decreasing clouds, but continuing with those windy conditions and cooler conditions pushing in behind the system. If we zoom out, look at the longer-term model here, we'll see that upper-level trough kind of digs in, brings some cooler conditions and continued breezy conditions as we move through the day on Friday. That system pulls off to the northeast, and we'll see moderating temperatures as we move into the day on Saturday. It looks to be another mild, comfortable day, and that clipper system that approaches the area late Saturday does look like it will be a dry one, with most of the precip drying out as it pushes through the area. So looking to remain dry as we move overnight Saturday into Sunday, but we will see some weak cold air advection into the area, bringing in a cooler day for Sunday with just a slight breeze gradually diminishing as we move through the day. Going into next week, once again, we'll have another low pressure system, a bit stronger, tracking across the northern part of the country. It's going to bring a warm front into the area. So looking at a warm up once again on Monday, possibly a few showers around, with showers becoming more likely as we get later in the day and that cold boundary pushes through, bringing some shower activity over the area. And then later in the evening, that front itself pushes through, and once again we'll get another brief shot of some cooler temperatures setting up for the day on Tuesday. So if we look at the 24-hour weather risk chart for today, again, nice conditions today. Overall, expecting green conditions. We'll see our high temperature getting into the lower 60s this afternoon with just a slight onshore breeze peaking out of the east around 7 to 12 knots. Plenty of sun, just a few high clouds around, and gradually increasing high clouds as we move into the evening. Going to keep temperatures fairly mild for the overnight low, with a low expected around 43 degrees. We'll see those winds shifting more southeasterly to southeasterly as we get into the start of the day on Thursday. As mentioned, we do have a chance of seeing a low cloud deck coming in off the ocean, as well as some low level moisture. So we do pick up a yellow risk for those reduced ceilings of visibilities as we move through the early morning hours of Thursday. Tides are running slightly above normal. Thursday overall looking mainly dry through the working hours. We'll see breezy conditions developing, so we do have an orange risk for winds that are above 25 knots, possibly seeing a wind advisory. Otherwise, we'll start to see those rain showers becoming likely as we get past the 16 to 1700 local time frame. So we do have that red risk for that precip threat, as well as a slight chance of seeing an embedded thunderstorm with that activity. So yellow risk for our lightning and yellow for our reduced ceilings and visibility with that activity. But ahead of that, should see mild conditions with a high once again around 62. Again, unless we see some of that low cloud sticking around, that will keep things slightly cooler. But as we go into the evening, continuing with the red risk for precip and yellow risk for lightning and reduced ceilings and visibilities. Early in the evening, again, should see that start to wrap up as we pass the 2 to 3 a.m. time frame. And then behind that activity, we'll start to see those winds really becoming strong. So we do increase to a red risk for winds that are above 25 knots, as we do expect some peak gusts up to 40 miles per hour behind that front. We'll see our low temperature around 38 degrees, and then moving into Friday, continuing with those windy conditions, red risk for the winds above 25 knots, so continuing with a likely wind advisory through the day on Friday. Otherwise, we'll see mostly cloudy to start the day and decreasing clouds as we move through the day, and cooler temperatures with a high around 53. Looking at the extended forecast here, we'll see just some increasing clouds as that Clipper system pushes through late on Saturday. Otherwise mild with a high of 62. Once again, cooler day in the 50s as we move into Sunday behind that Clipper system, but less in the way of clouds with some partly cloudy conditions. And then that next system comes in on Monday. Looks to be about a 60% chance of rain at this time, likely seeing that increase as we get closer to the event. But once again, mild with a high around 62, and then cooler day once again as we move into Tuesday behind that system with some lingering clouds around the area. That's going to wrap up the 10 a.m. daily weather briefing. We'll be back again tomorrow at 8:15 and 10 a.m. Enjoy the rest of your day.